Good morning, class. My name is Adachuku Joy Wilena. Here to talk to you about my recommendation report titled Biodegradable Materials Being Used Over Plastic Globally and in Household in Order to Reduce Earth's Global Warming Issues. Overview. I'll be talking about this recommendation report over two criteria. The first criteria will be the potential effect of biodegradable packaging materials and their waste outputs, and which requires recycling, cremation, and landfill. And then the second criteria will be the greenhouse gas effects, the greenhouse gas emission, and the climate change. The potential effects of biodegradable packaging material and their waste outputs. The one question asked the most is, what are the effects of biodegradable plastics when entering the waste streams and dealt with by current accessible alternatives? What are these alternatives? Recycling, cremation, landfill. As biodegradable plastics empower an expected alternative for waste treatment through fertilization of the soil, and as an approach to recoup the materials and to deliver a valuable item of fertilizer. Specific consideration will be given to fertilizing the soil by biopolymers versus regular plastics, which are incredibly harmful for the earth. One of the biggest approaches to this recycling is recycling. Many biodegradable plastic that go into the local waste streams might result in some complication for existing plastic recycling systems, meaning that not all biodegradable plastic and not all plastics are easily recycled. So that's why we approach it with other things like the cremation and landfill use. My first topic will be recycling. Recycling is one of the biggest ways to help reduce plastic waste on Earth. But there are some plastics and even bioplastics that cannot be discarded with a simple recycling method. The treatment of biodegradable plastic by composting is currently considered in numerous places as the world to be a suitable type of material restoration or recovery, which is like recycling, but versus us just recycling the plastics, we use it to treat the earth, to treat the soil, and that can only be done when we choose biodegradable plastics over regular plastics as our packaging materials. Greater efforts are needed to ensure proper waste management. I say greater effort just besides recycling. Efforts like cremation. Cremation with great energy restoration. Creation, specific ignition of plastics with high calorific power. Plastics with high calorific power, when they are cremated, they give out emissions to the earth, which might be harmful to the earth, but it does get rid of the plastic completely, as to not litter the world with a bunch of plastic or to let it into the ocean and possibly clean our sea lives. Landfill. The landfill of biodegradable materials, including plastic polymers, nurseries, and kitchen waste, presents a specific issue that methane, an ozone-depleting substance with multiple times the impact of CO2, might be delivered under anaerobic conditions. So when we do landfill, we can produce methane, which is much more harmful than CO2. So landfill transmits most greenhouse gases at a flatter level, even though it presents critical different dangers. We're using a moderate emission profile, however, opposed new virgin plastic available, making it worthwhile from an emission point of view. So when used landfill, the plastics are readily discarded. It's better for the earth when landfills are used, because of, even though the methods are harmful, is less harmful than just regular plastic being littered around the world or just being regularly recycled, because not all plastics that are recycled are actually discarded or reused again. My second, and this is a picture of, this is a table of the different ways biodegradable plastics are this is a visual representation of the waste output of biodegradable plastics. You can do an anaerobic digestion facility, which will be like, an equivalent to power plants where you incinerate all the plastics in ones. Even though there is emission problems, it is better than many of the other options that we have available. Composting facility, which is a land application such as landfill. When you compost, you can use it, or farmers can use it to grow crops, make things out of the earth. Recycling, for making carbon back to soil. When you recycle and you put the things back in the soil, this is bringing the earth more good stuff versus depleting our ozone layer by all the emissions when burned mostly. Waste energy facilities, we have waste energy facilities where we can take all these plastics to be properly discarded. And then of course landfill, recycling facilities. So these are all the many ways that we can get rid of our biodegradable plastic in a safe manner. The next topic I was talking about is the greenhouse gas effects of plastics in general. Current greenhouse gas emissions from plastic lifestyle threaten our ability to meet global climate targets. At current level, greenhouse gas emissions from plastic recycle undermine the capacity of the worldwide network to keep worldwide temperature increase beneath 1.5 degrees centigrade. Right now, as it stands, plastics are being littered all over the world. Like, as if you step outside, you see plastics on the floor, you see water bottles, you see chip bags. I remember when I was in high school, like we would eat chips and then you say, oh, this is for recycle, this is for trash. But most kids will just put anything where they want to put it in. So this is why biodegradable packaging materials is recommended. So when these things happen, the earth is readily able to decompose or is readily to kind of just accept these materials. So when it degrades, it's not stuck on the earth. Like you can come back 10 years later and you can see still a piece of plastic wherever you left it, maybe changing color, but it will still be there. But if it's a biodegradable packaging material, by then we probably will have decomposed into the environment and become something else that will not be harmful to the earth. I'll go to the next one. Greenhouse gas emissions. In 2019 alone, the production of incarceration of plastic will produce more than 850 million metric tons of greenhouse gases, which is equal to the emission from 199 500 megawatts coal power plants, which means that in a chemical plant, you emit a bunch of greenhouse gases. So if you're emitting as much as you are when you are just getting rid of plastic trash, that is not okay. Because when these chemical companies are making things, making petroleum, making gas, they are making things valuable for the earth. But when we're just burning plastic, we're getting rid of waste. So we're harming the environment just to get rid of waste, which is why biodegradable plastics are definitely recommended over regular plastic because of just how much harm that it does. Plastics alone causes changes to the climate. For example, they tell you not to use plastic straws because turtles might get choked if it enters the water. Or you see a turtle with the soda holding around their neck, tricking them about to die. You see a bunch of plastics in the ocean harming our sea life. Plastic when it's unmanaged, it just litters the whole world, and it's not okay because from the beginning process of making plastic to the end, there are many down effects. When it's being manufactured, there are emissions, carbon dioxide emission, methane emissions being emitted while plastics are being made, the emission being while they're being getting rid of. So in every process of making plastic, there are harms. But with biodegradable materials, is less harm. The plastic contamination emergency that overpowers our sea is critical and is developing every day, which is when we change to biodegradable packaging materials, we get to lessen this. This is a picture of what our world will look like if we continue to just use plastics all the time and just without any use. If we don't switch to biodegradable materials, this is what we're gonna get. Just a world of just papers and plastics everywhere, and there's no way to get rid of it than burning it. And when you burn it, it's still going to be harmful to the earth. My recommendation for this report is biodegradable materials are recommendable. It is better for the environment and it's also better for our households. In conclusion, we should endeavor to try to use biodegradable materials versus regular plastics just for us to save our planet. Thank you so much. Any questions?